Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently, well, we just finished installing the Canadarm into its more permanent home here. I don't think that's actually its permanent home, although we haven't switched it over to its grab arm. We really probably should do that. I just realized that we didn't switch it back to grab arm. Let's hop on down here, and hopefully we are not going to be breaking anything, because those are expensive to repair. Okay, let's bring this right on down. Where is the grab arm located right now? Is that inside of here? No, it's located in one of these modules somewhere. I think it might be... Hang on. We're not actually turning? Okay, let's... There we go. Oh, nope, that didn't do the trick. Hang on. There we go. We just need SAS on for it. Okay, so here's the grab arm right here. So that's absolutely great. We can go into Kerbal construction mode here. And I want to head forward a little bit so that we can actually reach that. And then hopefully down just a wee bit, right? So I want to be about here. We can just pop this guy right on off. And then pop this guy, in theory, right on, except we need to get it rotated correctly. About like that. And then just snap it right on there. Phenomenal. Now, we do have this hinge issue, right, where this hinge was a little bit broken. As long as we're here, we may want to actually fix this. So that should be easy enough. All we should need to do is just take these bits off of here. Like so. And then replace this. There we go. And now it should be working again, in theory. We need to get this welding animation done first. There we go. And we'll hop over to the actual station here. And I'm just going to freeze physics. There we go. Let's see. Are we working? Motor is disengaged. Motor is re-engaged. Okay, this hinge still appears to be a bit on the broken side. So, to that end, what do we want to do about it? How did this hinge get broken? That's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that, but this hinge does appear to be broken. So let's put this guy up here for the time being. Let's replace it with this hinge, because this is the kind of less valuable. The last one there is the less valuable hinge, right? We mostly are going to want it to be going straight out from the arm. So let's do that. I want to get this rotated over to be about like that or so, but I want to have snapping on. There, about there. So that'll do. We're going to hop back into place mode. And now we want to put one of these guys on, right? So something about like that. Now the broken hinge, which hopefully eventually will not be broken. We may have to bring up a replacement hinge. I don't know. We can do that for the moment, though, and then we can simply rotate that a wee bit to be about there. Sure, that'll do. And then, of course, we can get our rotation servo on there. At the very least, we can know whether we need to bring up a replacement hinge or not. But we might actually need a replacement hinge for that one. We'll keep an eye on it for now. And finally, the grab arm. But just moving it out here does mean it'll A, be easier to service, and B, this is the less valuable position for the hinge. So that's absolutely fine there. So now what I want to do is I want to hop out of Kerbal construction mode. I want to be backing up a little bit, going slightly down. There we go. We're going to hop back into the station, and I want to just double check what we've got going on here. Okay, so this hinge is definitely a little bit rotated. It's currently at 3.6 degrees. Motor is motorized, with the motor being engaged. Disengaged, it goes to 5.4 degrees. We engage it, it still sits at 5.4 degrees. Yeah, this hinge appears to be broken. So I think a replacement G11 hinge is going to be an important thing to bring up. That's an easy fix though. It's right here at the end, and that is phenomenal. So we can get that replaced very, very easily on the next flight. So we'll just add that to our list of things for the next flight to be wanting to do. And we'll just make our way back on up to the shuttle. We don't currently have a replacement hinge, so one will need to be brought up. And that's absolutely fine. So over we go to the shuttle. Just getting a little bit closer in here. And killing that vertical speed a bit. There we go. About in the exact position, approximately. And let's grab it right on and board. Cool. So now I'm going to say we're done here at the station for now. We do definitely need a replacement hinge there. I don't know why that hinge is broken. It doesn't appear to be, like, in need of repairs. It just appears to be bugged. We'll bring a new one up. That's fine. So we're just going to go into orbital retrograde here, because this flight is finally over. Let's bring them home. So checking to make sure that we're clear on our retrograde trajectory, and we absolutely are. Cool. So let's just get into position here and bring this down. Just making sure that all of our Kerbals are here, and they are. Cool. Let's get out of here. Goodbye, station. We will be back. So we're going to be using the arm on the station, the Canadarm, once we get that fixed, for installing a fair number of components. Or at least maneuvering them into place. We'll see how that ends up working out for us. It might be easier to still use the arm on the shuttle. The main problem is it needs to be like two separate things to dock together, right? So we'll see how that works. For now, of course, we need to bring this on home, and the question is, what is going to be the next module that we bring up? I haven't looked at that. Also, why is there an EVA repair kit floating out here? That's kind of exciting. I must have accidentally dropped that somewhere. Okay, so we're at a decent periapsis here. So we're just going to come over to this periapsis, and we're going to circularize that on down. Phenomenal. Somewhere around here, and I do like to come down on day side. It's just easier to see. So something like this will do for now. We'll align to the node, and let's get this thing ready for re-entry. We've still got 1,200 meters per second in this, but let's warp on through. This actually ended up being a pretty long mission because we had a lot of things that I wanted to get done. No doubt about that. The next mission will likely be significantly shorter, but we'll see. So we're just going to get into position here. We've got about 1 minute, and that is absolutely fine. I'm actually just checking what our next portion for this is. It's the mobile base system. So that's the mobile servicing system, the base platform for the robotic arms. Okay. We can definitely do something with that. I'm not sure what that actually ends up looking like. Apparently it looks like this. Exciting. So that's the mobile base system just before it was installed on the mobile transporter during STS-111. Okay, well, that's certainly interesting. I'm not sure how we're going to model that in-game yet. We'll figure that out. So we've got about 10 seconds here. And let's fire up these engines. So we're just looking to circularize. We're not looking to get into the atmosphere just yet. So that's going to be a fair amount of delta V, of course, to bring us down to this, like, parking orbit. And once we're here, we'll just determine where we're going to go in. I don't care whether we land on sea or land. We're just going to bring this in, but I do care about day side versus night side. So we're going to guarantee that it's night side. Currently, it looks like it might be a land landing. Famous last words, though. I've said that a lot. Okay. Just this last little bit of delta V here, but it doesn't really matter. This is certainly close enough. So somewhere around here or so, we're going to bring this down to about 40 kilometers. Cool. So right around there. Excellent. We'll head over to the node. And we can physics warp as we get into position for that. About 9 minutes until this burn. And all is looking good here. There we go. About 1 more minute until the burn. I was hoping that just removing and replacing that hinge would fix it. I suppose maybe stowing it and then replacing it might re-initialize it. That's a possibility. We might want to try that, actually, before we bring up a replacement. We could delay the replacement a bit. That is definitely an option. So we're going to be bringing this down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. That should be good enough. And we're going to head over to horizontal velocity up. And just rotate ourselves into position here. About like that. We don't actually care about this maneuver anymore. Get out of here, maneuver. Excellent. And we're just going to warp right on through. Cool. Entering the atmosphere, and let's physics warp. So we're just going to be parked here for right now, just adjusting our roll a little bit. That's over adjusting it. It's difficult when physics warping, though. No doubt about that. So we'll just position it about here for now, and let's warp on through. What is this looking like for the moment? It could certainly be a water landing up in the same area that we landed in previously, couldn't it? Yeah, it definitely could be. I think it is. I think this is the same as one of our previous water landings. Okay, well, it's fine. Absolutely okay. We're not too concerned about it. We're just looking to get through this. Fantastic. So we've got our 2 drogues, of course, that we can deploy to slow ourselves down once we get a little further through, but this thing has just so much drag that honestly we don't really need them, but they are convenient. They definitely help us slow down right before the landing. Periapsis is down to about 30 kilometers now. We're still cruising along pretty good, increasing our orbital speed. Are we still increasing our surface speed? Yes, we are. Okay. That said, we are losing energy here. Oh, we haven't vented our fuel. We should definitely do that. Get out of here, fuel. We need you gone for aerodynamics reasons. There we go. We've got this strut just chilling here. It's fine. I'm sure it's not going to affect us at all. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's a physics-less part, so it shouldn't it shouldn't cause any issues. Should be fine. Periapsis is crossing below 0 as of now, and we are seeing our speed slowing down, so that's great. As expected, we are shooting past this coastline, and we're going to be landing in this water, definitely. This is where we previously were. We're going way too fast to try to maneuver. I'm not going to attempt to maneuver at these speeds. So we're just parking right here and just gliding on through. Fantastic. Still moving at about 2 kilometers per second horizontally. Vertically, we're going down at about 100 meters per second as well. Almost 150, actually. So that's all seeming fine, but we're slowing down markedly. Down to 1.8 kilometers per second. 1.6. 1.4. Atmosphere is starting to get pretty thick here. I'm going to take us out of physics warp because we are a bit off kilter here. There we go. Dropping below 1 kilometer per second as of now. Cool. Wow, this cloud formation here almost, not quite, but almost looks like a shoreline. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that almost looks like it's a shoreline, but it really isn't. That is clouds. We're moving at about 700 meters per second right now, so at this moment, I do want to start pitching downward a little bit. We need to lose some altitude here. So that is the current goal. We're just going to head right on down. I don't want to go too much more than about here since we're picking up some awkward rolls. Awkward rolls indeed. I'm just going to go to surface velocity up for right now. MechJeb can handle that. Excellent. So that'll do for the moment. And we're just going to Yeah, this is quite sensitive at the moment, but I just want to continue diving down here and converting our horizontal speed into vertical speed, or more specifically, I just want to lose altitude right now. That's what I want to do, is lose altitude. So we're going to continue this dive for a fair amount of time. I'm putting us in kill rot now. I don't want to dive any deeper than this. And we're going to pull up out of this dive incrementally, I think. This is a pretty steep dive at this moment. Yeah, I'm going to start pulling up a little bit here to about here for now. And then we're going to pull fully out of this dive at about 1.5 kilometers. So, now. Okay, fully pulling out of the dive, going into kill rot. And now we're just gliding. We've converted that vertical speed back into horizontal speed, and we're just looking to get some drag here. So honestly, this is a reasonable time, I think, to deploy the chutes and lose a fair amount of horizontal speed. Now, I'm going to be diving back down a little bit. Here, we're a little higher than I want to be at these speeds. So I'm just going to park us about here. We are increasing our surface velocity, as you can see. Okay. And we're going to pull up and splash in about like... Nice. Excellent. And honestly, it's the same technique for landing on the ground, right? You want to do the same sort of technique, you just deploy the landing gear. That's the only real difference there. So we're going to recover this vessel, and now we can get started on making our next component here. Now, one thing to think about is how exactly this is planned to be attached to the station, and in what way we're going to do that. That is going to be very interesting. And I think I have some awkward ideas for it. So, awkward ideas are the best ideas for this sort of thing. No doubt about that. So, let's get our payment for this mission. That is priority 1. So, there we go. We get our payment. Now we can hop into the VAB. And we can get ourselves our S0 truss segment, because that is the variant of the shuttle that has those upgrades. So we're going to put in the S0 truss segment, which is a little bit more expensive. There we go. We can see that this is actually slightly net negative for us in terms of cost, but we can then get rid of the actual truss segment here. We can get rid of this guy. We can get rid of everything in here. There we go. And that, it's in and of itself, isn't all that expensive. Now, this decoupler didn't work, so we'll get rid of that too. That was clearly an issue. I do think having this arm here is a good thing, so we'll just keep that there for now, and let's extend the arm out so that we can work on this out, like physically outside of the bay. I think that'll be a very convenient thing. Okay, so this is going to be called the Mobile Base System. Right, so Mobile Base System. Okay, we'll save this as our, like, initial version of it. So this is just the bare bones shuttle with no payload. As we can see, that is definitely a little too expensive. However, I don't think that if we remove this rocket cone, you can see there's remote guidance units in here. I don't think these actually help. So I'm going to remove those. That will save us some money. And then we'll put these back on just like that. And boom. Now we have a little bit of headroom anyway. It's not a lot of headroom, and having these advanced reaction wheel modules on here do actually significantly help. I did test that, so that is absolutely great. Now, as far as the mobile base system goes, I want to try to wrap my head around how exactly this works. So let's take a look at this here. So this is the Dexter here. We're not worried about that right now. If we look at this, we can barely make it out. So this is the S0 truss segment right now, and we're currently docked to a docking port right here, right? So that's like that attachment point. Now, the actual location that this thing needs to be attached to is this mobile base system. And it's pretty much just a box that can be like moved from position to position. Ah, I'm getting an idea for something that we can do for this. Yes. Yes. Ideas are happening here. Okay, so it might not be fully like the same thing as what's here, but I have an idea. And let me try to outline the idea. So our current problem with moving the Canadarm is we can't have both sides of the Canadarm docked at the same time, right? And if we have the grab arm attached to one side of the Canadarm, then we run into an issue where the grab arm is attached and we have a docking port on the other side, and then we let go of the docking port, but the grab arm automatically lets go as well, and it becomes its own free-floating ship. So here's the idea. And this might not be correct on the size front, but the idea here is that we would take something, I would want to go to the pods here, something along the lines probably larger than the Prototyne Rovemate, but I'm going to work off of this for right now. So we would just have this grab, or rather this point here, right? And this would be able to be attached to the station via a Clampatron docking port junior, which would end up going somewhere like there, right? And then it would itself have an attach point for the Canadarm, which would end up going, hypothetically, something kind of like this, right? So you would have this be docked on either side. This would then dock up to the station, and it would have a docking port junior here. Now, the real interesting part here is that we can put on RCS onto this, and the Prototyne Rovemate is going to be a control structure. So we could put onto this, why did the game just minimize on me? I pressed literally no buttons. Whatever, I assume that's a Windowsism. We're going to grab an RCS fuel tank here, or maybe just like small monoprop tanks on the sides here. Something kind of like that. And then attach in a reaction wheel, because this doesn't have a built-in reaction wheel. I do want to have a reaction wheel on this. So a reaction wheel would be, what size could we get away with? Medium is probably way too big, right? So like a regular SAS. And that could go on the back side of it here. So this is intended to be the station-facing side, right? And then what we would be able to do is we would put RCS thrusters on here. So we would go into command and control. We put RCS thrusters on here, and those would go hypothetically here and here. We can then just snap those into position to make sure that they're relatively symmetrical. Yeah, something like that. So we've got some built-in monoprop, we've got some RCS thruster blocks here, and the idea here is we have this attached to the station, right? And we want to move this. This is where the Canadarm is attached. So all we do is we undock this, and we maneuver it through space using this guy. We might want to strut down the arm first. So having some sort of a strut container here might not be a bad idea, but we would move it using this platform, re-dock it up to the station using this docking port, and the arm would then be fundamentally mobile. That's the overall idea, and we don't have to have the arm, like, caterpillaring across the station, because KSP just doesn't support that. So this doesn't look all that much like the actual mobile base system. And I do want to take this out of here, and on this side, put in some sort of a container. So I would like to have, it doesn't have to be big. This cargo storage unit, it has about the amount of storage that I want, but it is kind of a bit on the tall side. So do we have something else that we could put on there? I mean, there's like this container module, there's this giant container module, there's this conformal storage unit, and that might actually be what we're looking for here. So we would attach this here. The conformal storage unit is like this size, right? So what if hypothetically we went into mirror mode here. And we put one of these, like... Actually, we could just put them out on each side of the monoprop tanks. And then just fill that up with struts. We can toss in a hinge as well to repair the Canadarm, since we're going to be working on the Canadarm anyway. So that was a G11 hinge. I'm just going to toss that guy. We don't need to have symmetry on. I'm just going to toss that guy in there. That'll do for now. And I think this is completely okay for the mobile base system. To be clear, I do expect there to be issues, significant issues, with the arm flopping around as we attempt to move it. So it'll have to be secured down temporarily. But I think this is a reasonable compromise here. So we can fill this up with struts. Something along the lines of... we need these to be correct. Something along the lines of this. There we go. I wish we could duplicate full stacks. That would be really, really convenient. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. Ah, we're running into leader storage space. Okay. We only have so much space in these. We don't have to have it fully filled up, though. This is more than enough struts for this particular contraption. So that'll be absolutely fine. Because there's a reaction wheel, of course, we're going to need it strutted to the actual station. But that's also absolutely fine. Okay, let's get this stowed and make sure that it fits in here reasonably well. It should. Oh yeah, that fits great. Absolutely wonderfully. So I'm going to strut this from here to here, just to make sure that that's not going anywhere. And then I'm also going to strut it from here to here, and from here to here. So that's not going anywhere at all, and we can get that stowed, and we're ready for launch. It is time to put a cut in here, though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to take our mobile base system all the way up to the ISS and get that installed, get our Canadarm significantly upgraded. This is going to be a very, very big deal, all things considered. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.